Hey, South Central Wisconsin, stick around. We've got some amazing content coming your way, and you are not going to want to miss it.
That's right. That was awesome. Very cool, Justin. Well, let's move on to the next question. Let me see here. The next question came in for one of our buyer clients. Uh, their name is Marie from Madison, and they were wondering what the different statuses on the MLS. Do we typically see things like active, offer show, offer no show? One of the most confusing to people is offer bump. And then we do see pending and contingent as well. Could you tell us a little bit about those different statuses?
Yeah, that's another fantastic question, and one that is super important to it. It seems like we go over this in at the beginning of working with most buyers. So the different MLS statuses, in terms of what we want to see, kind of the ideal one that we want to look for if we're working with buyer clients is active. So what that typically means is a little bit newer in the life of that property being listed. It's active. It doesn't have any accepted offers on it yet. What I always refer to it, they're waving the flag that says that they want to sell, right? So active is the most clean and open one in terms of, if you wanted to go and set up a showing on a property tomorrow, what we would be seeking out would be active. Now, probably the most second common MLS status is offer show. And what that means is that that particular property has accepted an offer to purchase, but more than likely it's very new in the life of that acceptance or the life of that transaction. So they haven't worked through all of the various contingencies. So what that seller is letting us know is that they have accepted an offer to purchase, but they're still allowing people to come and tour that property because they're still working through the financing or the inspection. The next one is offer no show, which very, very similar to offer show, but in the life of that accepted offer, they're more than likely through the majority of the contingencies. They're close. Maybe they're just waiting for the countdown until closing, so they're not allowing buyers to come through and tour that property anymore. Sometimes that can happen right away if a seller accepts a very, very strong offer to purchase. We do see that from time to time where the property is active one day, and the very next day it says offer no show. It's usually an indication of a very strong offer, sometimes a cash offer that has come in on the property,
Hmm.
but very specific to each seller's situation. So not necessarily any blanket statements with it. That's why it's always important to check in with your agent about any property that you're interested in, so that we can do the specific inquiries with the listing agent and see what the real story is with that property. One of the most kind of in-depth statuses that's out there, again, an exciting one to explain because it does still allow all buyers out there opportunity, and that's offer bump. And what that particular status refers to is that those sellers of that property have accepted an offer to purchase, but the offer to purchase that they have accepted is contingent upon the sale of another property. Now, the majority of the time when a seller accepts an offer that is contingent on the sale of those particular buyer's property, they put in what's known as a bump clause. And so that's why it's kind of shortened down to offer bump. And you have to go through it contractually. And again, there's subtle nuances with every particular bump clause, but common is that it's usually a 48 to 72 hour period where, let's say we're working with another set of buyers and they submit an offer to purchase on that property that is in the offer bump status. Typically, that gives the folks who are sitting in the primary position, that first offer that was accepted, either 48 hours or 72 hours to remove that bump contingency or that bump clause. And they can do that by either coming up with financing that isn't dependent upon the sale of their property, or sometimes people put that bump clause in there as just a protection. Sometimes they can finance both properties at the same time, but that's more of a risk, more of a financial obligation. So if there's not competing offers, they'll include that bump clause as a bit more of protection. So if the folks who are sitting in primary who had their offer contingent on the sale of their property can't finance the property or can't remove that bump clause, what happens is that second set of buyers that came in can now bump them out of that primary position and have their offer accepted, and then move forward and be the ones actually in that primary position to be able to purchase the house. So obviously, again, these are specifics that you'd want to discuss with your agent if you enter into that scenario. But good news for buyers is if it says offer bump, there is still a path towards you being able to purchase that property. And kind of the final status is pending or contingent. Every different area kind of has subtle nuances, subtle differences of how they'll post it. But once a property has worked through all of the contingencies to purchase it, and they're just basically waiting for the closing or waiting for like the funds to transfer to be able to purchase that property, it gets put into pending status or contingent, meaning that it's essentially a done deal. We're just all kind of waiting for the formal closing and transfer of funds and title and keys. So
Nice.
exciting, important things to know for sure, and
Yeah.
very, very helpful if you're a buyer of which properties to focus in on when you kind of begin that search. So
Yeah, great explanations of all the different statuses. That I thought it was really clear. For all of them, the offer bump is certainly the hardest to understand, just because there is a lot of detail involved, and it does change for every single sale. There can be some small differences. But yeah, I think you did touch on it too. But no matter the status on the MLS, it's always worth calling your agent and asking about it, because agents, we have a direct line to the other agent, and a lot of times we can get some juicy inside details. And I always love that. And I don't know how many times I've seen in this wild and crazy market we're in right now, there's always active statuses, and it's like, call them and they're like, nope, we already accepted an offer. It's like, I guess we're not going to go see that property today. And it happens all the time. So the status is certainly do a good deal of justice, but it's always worth checking out. If you see an offer no show, I'm always happy to check in and see how things are going. A lot of times they're like, please bring your buyer through. Love to have you.
Absolutely. That's why we're here, right? Is to have those conversations, and that's an important thing that you pointed out. Currently we're in a very fast-paced, moving market, so just because it says active on it doesn't mean that they don't have like 3 or 6 or 10 offers in hand that they're considering. So time is always of the essence. Having a proactive agent that will directly check in with the listing agent and see what the specifics are of that particular property, just key important ingredients in your success. So
For sure.
yeah. Well, we want to encourage your questions. We're going to continue this series here. We are always here for your questions. Write into us. Let us know. Leave a question in the comments. We are here to do this to be a resource to the community, and these are important topics, important information that we want to get out to everybody out there, so that kind of demystify the real estate world. So encourage your questions. We thank you for your time. If there's ever anything that we can do to help you, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you.